Hello everyone, once again welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to continue with MEG4, that is Aspects of Language, Unit 3 of Block 3. So Block 3 is English Phonetics and Phonology, Part 1. And out of this Part 1, I am dealing with Unit 3 right now because I have already completed till Unit 2. So this unit is pretty interesting and it also talks about how we speak the language. And when you hear someone speaking English, I'm specifically talking about English, but it actually works for all the languages. But when you hear a British person speaking English, an Australian person speaking English, or an American person speaking English, or an Indian person speaking English, or all over the world, you can sense a different accent with each and every person with how they are speaking the language, and it depends on what is their mother tongue. Because our major languages are, like as Indians, our major languages are maybe Hindi or certain languages which are similar to Hindi like Gujarati, Marathi, Bengali. Or if you come from the southern part of India and then you have other major languages like Tamil, Malayalam, these kind of languages. And then you can see the difference even within Indian speakers, that those who have Hindi or similar languages as their mother tongue or major language, they would speak English language a little bit different than those people who have the southern languages as their mother tongue. So why is it happening? Because from the beginning, since we were young, we were taught to have certain sounds, certain vowels, certain accents that was taught to us from the beginning. And so English, as when we learned, it came to us as a second language. So what did we do? We spoke this language with our sounds which we learned before. And that is why our English or our pronunciation, our accents are very different from those people whose mother tongue or their actual language or their major language is different from our language. For example, there are certain sounds which exist in our Hindi, in our mother tongue. I'll take example of Hindi here because I am a Hindi speaker, so don't mind, but I'll have to take some examples. So I'm going to take Hindi over here. So we have certain sounds in Hindi which do not exist in the English language. Similarly, there are certain sounds in the English language which do not exist in the Hindi language. For example, the sound of "oh", like there's a dog. In Hindi, if a Hindi speaker has to say, he will either say like dog or dog. We have "o", "ow", but we don't have "o" sound. "Oh", dog. That's a dog. That's a doctor. We don't have those sounds. So that is why when a Hindi speaker would speak English, it would come out very different. So in today's lesson, we are going to talk about how these accents, they affect or they can change the language or the word. And this is not just when people of different languages are speaking English, but it is also for when you speak English. Within English, there are certain words which could be same sounding, but they have different meaning. So let's start with certain examples. As you can see on the screen, I'm going to read some words and then you can understand the difference what we're talking about the pronunciation. Especially as we have seen as of now with the other chapters that English is a very non-phonetical language, you can say, because there is something written on the screen or something written on the paper, but when you read it, it comes out very different. And the best example, as I had given before when we were young, they used to tell us like TO2 is 2, but GO is pronounced as go. So even though they are both the same, ending with O, single syllabled words, but the pronunciation is different because English changed throughout. The history of English is very rich and it changed, and that's why it's a non-phonetical language. Again, let's come back to this. So what we are going to do is I'm going to read these words and then you're going to listen to the sounds. So the first word is bow, bow. The second word is cuff. The third, do. Fourth is thorough. Fifth is through. And sixth is tough. Now listen to all these words and then see, it all ends with UGH, UGH, UGH. But the pronunciation, the sound is very different. Bow, cuff, do, thorough, through, tough. How is it possible? They're all ending with OUGH. Then why is it happening that all these vowel sounds in each of the words is different, even though their spellings are the same? Now let's come down. And then I'm going to read these other words which you can see on the screen. So field, greed, key, machine, people, receive, sweet, these, street. Now you can see the major sound is E in all of these, whereas the alphabets on the screen are not the same, because all these E sounds are made by a very different combination of words. For example, IE, EE, EY, I, EO, EI, UI, single E or EA. Now these all sounds, they are sounding similar, but they are not exactly the same. Okay, so what is happening is all these combinations are different, but they are still representing only one vowel sound, and that one vowel sound is similar to the one which we have in the word B. Okay, it is all talking about E. Now let's come ahead and see some more words. So these words, they sound similar, but they have a very different spelling. Okay, and also they have a very different connotation. They all have different meaning and spellings, but they are sounding the same. So our first combination is seen and seed. Okay, pain and pain, bad and bade, sue and sow, boy and boy, sight and sight, here, two, here, wood, wood. All these words are very simple. I am not going to explain what are these words, but if you find something which you don't know, you can either Google or you can ask me in the comment section. I can explain, but I'm not going to emphasize more on this. What is the meaning? But I'm going to talk about how they are different words, but they are pronounced the same. So it depends on the context of what and where you're reading it or listening to it, and then you would understand that it is hair or hair. Are we talking about the hair on our head, or are we talking about hair as in a rabbit? Okay. So with these words, though each word in every pair is spelled differently, it has the same pronunciation. Okay. Now let's move forward and see some more words. So these all have QU, okay, but the pronunciation is very different. Quality, quarter, queen, quench, question, quilt, square, squash, squirrel. Okay, they all have the letter Q, and this letter represents two consonant sounds, not one. The first sound in cold and the first sound in watch. Okay, so in cold we have k, and then in watch we have v, and then if you combine this k and v, then you get the sound of Q, which is what we just spoke here, which is what I just pronounced here, I read here. Okay, now we are going to listen to another set of words, which is excellent, exclusive, excursion, excuse, exercise, exhibition, exact, examine, example, exertion. So now that we have read all these words, these alphabets, these pronunciations, we have read about them, what are we exactly talking about? Why have I read all these words? So the first thing to understand is this is the basis of how we are going to read words. So far as of now, what we do is we look at a word and then we have heard it for so long from our teachers, from our colleagues, from our friends, our parents, and then we know how to read it, even though it is a very non-phonetical language. English is a very non-phonetical language. It's not like Hindi, where if it is written karama, then it would be read as karama. But in English, it doesn't work like that. But it's just with experience that we already know that's how it's going to be pronounced. So what we did here in this part of this chapter was, this part of the video was that we understood what are these anomalies that we are dealing in this language, and what are the things which we don't even notice, but it is happening over there. Okay. So the first thing is to identify a problem is the first step to the solution. So actually we are not going to solve the problems of English, but we are going to solve the problems of our pronunciation, and this is just the beginning. They are talking about how they have found a way in which you actually pronounce the words. So when you go on Google, when you type a word, there is always, like, the word is there, of course, the meaning is there, and then you can see down in slanted brackets, there is another, some combination of letters is there, which we usually do not bother to look at, but that is actually the pronunciation of that word. So now in this video and the next video, what we are going to do is we are going to actually understand how you have to pronounce these words. This is actually very interesting if you think about it, because maybe not from the exam perspective, but from your reading perspective, to enhance your language, to enhance your pronunciation. This is going to help you a lot. And I also want to make a specific video about a pronunciation. So this could be the base of it. That's this is the base, and I'm very happy that IGNOU actually introduced this in our unit, in our syllabus. So IGNOU actually did give this weird looking chart, and it has a good intention. I can understand, I can feel that, but it is not very clear, so I'm going to use another chart. I got it from Google. So this is the phonetical chart which I'm going to use, and then we will talk about how you have to pronounce these words. So what I have on the screen right now, these are the phonetic alphabets, and you can also see how they are pronounced. So I'll tackle all of these one by one so that you can understand what's happening. And also I think with the words which are given below, which are given down, you would be able to understand it better anyway on your own. So let's see. The first one, which is the A and E, it's a mixture. So this is pronounced as A, like in cat, and, okay. Then the next one we have is the schwa sound. You can see this upside down E. This upside down E is called schwa sound, and this is just like not exactly giving the sound. This is also called as idiot sound, which means that you're not actually pronouncing this. For example, in the word the is there, but after that, we don't have any e. So we don't have any vowel sound after that. It's just that sound, which is not coming off as anything. There are no syllables in that. There are no there are no other these kind of sounds. Or when I say about, it's this sound is called the idiot sound. Then we have this A but with an accent on the top. This is but, stuck. So it's different, you can see. Then we have this A, the complete A with an accent. So that's father. Bar. I'm going to the bar. Okay. That's my father. Okay. So this is the sound R. You can see A dot R. Then we have EI. EI is pronounced as A. Day or bait. Okay. A. Then we have this A conjoined with E. Okay. This is chair. Aeroplane. Then we have the B is pronounced as B. So you can see these slanted brackets, you can say. These slanted brackets, this is how you actually pronounce these things. So B is B, D is D. Then there is this D, which you can see the sign. So that is that, them. Then we have E, which is pronounced as bed, egg. Okay. Then we have this I in the bracket. So this is I after two dots. If I has two dots, then it becomes the E. Like in Hindi, we have bada E. So it becomes E, like C, cozy. Okay. Then we have this 3 dot R. So this is about nurse, bird, sound. Then F is F, like in frog, fish, whatever. Then G is go, like go. Then H is silent also sometimes, but it can also be hat. H is hat. Then we have I, but this I is the small I, small E. Like in Hindi, we have chota E. So it's it, sing, blink, kick, like that. Then we have AI, night, I sound, sky, night. Okay. Then we have oi sound. O and I gives you oi sound, boy, oil. Then we have J, which is J in English, but it is represented as DZ in the phonetic world. And then you call it J, jump, age. Okay. But as you can see with AGE, age, there is no J, but you are actually pronouncing J. Text of the word could be very different from what is written on the screen. Then we have this T with F. This is ch, chip or touch. You can hear the ch sound. Then we have this sh sound, this sh, shop, squash, okay. Then we have this 3 kind of sound, so it's j, television, measure. Then K is K as in tick or come or queen. Then we have L is L as in lamp or cell. Then we have M as M. These are the easy ones. N in N, okay. Then we have sound. This N with extra long pointed thingy. N like thing, singing, ing sound. Okay, ing. Then we have O as in stop, opera. Then we have this other sound U as in boat, slow, O. Okay. Then we have this next sound like in store or all, o sound. Then we have P as in per, R as in r, S as in sir, T as in ter. Then U after, there are two dots after U, this will become oo, like boot, suit, coot, okay. So this is like bada oo in Hindi. And then we have this small oo, which is like put, could, oo, this is the small one. Then V as in have, a very, and this is something important for especially Indian speakers because we don't actually differentiate between V and W. We pronounce both of them same. But just keep this thing in your mind that when you're pronouncing V, don't just say it like V, like how you say W or V, but rather have your lips bitten. So when you bite your lips and it comes like V, then it is actually the V sound, which English speakers have and we don't have. So have, very, and then what, W is W, like what, way. Then we have this AU, ow sound, cloud, power, okay. Then we have Y, which comes out as yes, okay. Then Z is Z. And then we have this theta kind of thing which talks about th. In Hindi you can say th. Maths. But it is not exactly as th, so don't say like maths, but similar to that. So maths, thing, okay. So these are the alphabets, but in the phonetical language. So with this, now you'll be able to pronounce words better. Now when you see that small bars, when you see a word, you can actually see how to pronounce it. I'll also make another video where I will specifically be tackling this issue about pronunciation, and I'm hoping that it will be very interesting because I was able to attend a lecture on phoneticism. It was the voice and accent training. So we were taught those things and I found it very interesting. So I hope even if I'm able to make it like 10% interesting of how he had the class, my trainer had the class, I'd be so happy. But I do want to make a video on that. So we would be able to pronounce better and speak better. And of course, if you speak better, you would be more confident. But that's for another time. Let's come back to this. So these sounds were given by the International Phonetic Alphabet Organization or Association. So this table which you saw, this one was given, the other one was given by IGNOU, and this one I got from the internet. So they are talking about the phonetic transcription, okay. So now, as is mentioned in your IGNOU books, I am taking a screenshot of that. So, for example, the English word cell, C-E-L-L or C-A-L-L, call, cell and call, they are transcribed as, in the phonetic word, they would be transcribed as S-E-L and K-A-L, like you can see these signs. So, cell and call. So now, even though they look very similar, you would think this is cell and this should be sol if you think about it. But when it comes to the phonetic transcription, it is cell and call. So now you understand how to speak those words. Okay. So in the similar situation, similar symbols, for example, in the words keep, pick, corn, character, quarter, account, even though they all have different words on the screen, but their phonetic symbols would all be with K, right? Okay, so I hope this one was clear to you as of now so far. So I'll proceed to phoneme section of this. So let's see, there are certain English words, let's see, like late, gate, fate, rate, mute, bait, wait. All these words, notice that these words differ from each other in the respect of one sound only the initial sound, and substituting of one sound for another can bring about a change in the meaning of the word. For example, if I substitute G for L, then the word gate would be changed to late. So the difference between the L and G is called contrasive, and the difference between all these words, these are all phonemes in English. These are called phonemes. So they are also like other words. If you will take, for example, lake, for instance, and the substitutes of the words and vowels like lake, look, lick, leak, lock, lurk, right? So these are for all the vowels lake and are the vowel phonemes of English. This process of substitution can by and large help us to establish the phonemes of linguistically significant sounds of a language. Okay, so English has total 44 phonemes in its sound system. Hindi has about 46, Tamil has 41, Kannada has 47. So these all phonemes are contrastive and units in the sound system of a language. So they basically form the language. With all these sounds, you can actually make the whole language. So if you're able to understand this phonetics and phonology, you can kind of understand what the language is made of. So this study, you can also study the phonemic system. In every language, there are restrictions and sequences of phonemes. When you see a certain word which is also written in English, okay, like the alphabets are similar to the English alphabets, but when you look at that word, you can tell this is not an English word, okay. This doesn't look like an English word. So how do you find that, no, this is not an English word? Because there are certain combinations in each and every language which are not possible. For example, the combination of TK or PG or ZT to occur in the final position in English word it's not possible, okay, or it is very rare, and that's why when you look at that word, you would be able to see and tell, this doesn't look like English, even though the alphabets are in English. For example, in languages like French or Dutch or German, the alphabets are English, but when you look at that word, you would be able to tell, this doesn't look like English. Why does it happen? Because when you talk of a sequence of consonants, we refer to sequence with one syllable, okay, and we would study about this more in the next unit. And before I complete this unit, there is just one last topic, which is supra-segmental phonology. What is supra-segmental phonology? We, again, as Indians, because English is not our first language, we do not think about it much, or we don't give it much focus. But actually, for the native English speakers, what they do is, when they're talking about a noun, when it is a noun, then they will stress more on the first part of the word, okay? But when it is a verb, then they will stress more on the second part of the word, okay? And in English language, you only stress on one part of the word, and then you let the other words or the other alphabets, you just let them be with that idiot sound. You don't stress on them much. For example, when I say the word photography, and I say photography, which one sounds better? Which one sounds more English? Photography or photography? Photographer, photographer. Vegetables, vegetables. Right? What sounds more English? It's the first ones which I'm saying. Photographer, photography, vegetables. Why? Because now when I say it like that, I'm not stressing on all the vowels in that word. And that is why it is more English. It sounds more English. It sounds more professional, not professional, but it sounds more English than someone who will say vegetable. Okay. It's not wrong, but it's more Indianized version of English, because in Hindi we don't have this thing of omitting certain sounds and then only saying some other sounds. Not in Hindi, but like in Indian languages. Okay. So this happens with native English speakers, that when they stress more on the first part of the word, then it is the noun. When they stress on more on the second part of the word, then it is a verb. So when I say the word contact, or present, or produce, these three words, these are not the only three words, but these I have taken for example. So these three words, they are also to be taken as a verb or to be taken as a noun. You can also use a contact as a verb or as a noun. So is with present and produce. But when I'm talking about it as a noun, then I would say contact. Do you have any contacts? Okay. But when I am talking about contact as in a verb, so I will say, were you able to contact her? Okay. So what did I do in the first part? In the first one, because it was a noun, I stressed more on con, and then tact was just tact. Contact. But when I am speaking it as a verb, then I let con a bit down, and then I emphasized on tact. So what happened is, just by my pronunciation, I changed the word from a noun to a verb, or from a verb to a noun. Another example of this could be when I say the word yes. Okay. When I say yes, it sounds as yes, I will do it. But when I say yes, then it becomes a question. Okay. It becomes like, oh, what did you say? Yes? Okay, it's like that. So it depends on the pronunciation. You can actually change the meaning of the word. So these contrast and the extended over several segment phonemes are called as supra-segmental. With this, we are summing up this unit 3. I hope it was somewhat clear to you, it was helpful, and if it was, do let me know in the comment section. Your comments motivate me a lot. and I hope to see you guys in the last unit of this block. So we will be able to complete 3 blocks entirely, totally. How did you find this video? Let me know in the comment section. Okay, let's move to the next one then.